I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning from Life in UK test part 280. The development of British democracy. That's on page 106. By doing this training, you participate in this training. That's the challenge. So again, skipping that page here. We don't want tips and tricks. We want to give our best with information we're getting. The UK is a parliamentary democracy with a monarch as head of a state. This section will tell you about the different institutions which make up this democratic system and explain how you can play a part in the democratic process. Will that whole thing just be about democracy? The UK is a parliamentary democracy. Now, I don't want to talk very much about that. They can explain it. And it has a monarch at the head of a state. And now, in this section we will learn, but it's still part of the introduction, no? We will learn about the different institutions which make up a democratic system and explain how you can play a part in the democratic process. Okay, let's get started. The development of British democracy, we had some bit of it already. Democracy is a system of government where the whole adult population gets a say. This might be by direct voting or by choosing representatives to make decisions on their behalf. I'm still questioning, are people in prison allowed to vote? And people who have diagnosed mental disabilities? I don't think so. But they are allowed. So I think they are not allowed. So democracy is a system of government, some way how the country is governed, who says how the laws are basically. And democracy is a type of it. And in democracy, all adults of a population have something to say in it. And that can be by voting or by choosing representatives to make decisions on their behalf. That's what we're going to set us. But it must be something like you vote and you say, I want that person or that party. Something like that. At the turn of the 19th century, Britain was not a democracy as we know today. When was the turn of the 19th century? I don't know, I'm not very familiar with that expression. Maybe we had it one or two times, maybe we just knew it, but at the turn of the 19th century. So when it becomes the 19th century. So 1899. When it becomes the 19th century. 1799. 1800. In the year 1800, it is the first year of the 19th century. So 1799. Some time ago, 100, 200 years ago, the democracy was different from what it is today. There were elections to select members of parliaments, MPs, but only a small group of people could vote. They were men who were over 21 years of age and who owned a certain amount of property. We have it already in more detail. So there were people who were voted for. They were the member of parliaments, the MPs, but only people over the years of 21 age could vote, and only the male part of the population can vote, and only the few men who had enough property. So at the end of the day, almost no one could vote. The franchise, that is the number of people who had the right to vote, grew over the course of the 19th century, and political parties began to involve ordinary men and women as members. We have it all in detail. So, the franchise is the number of people who had the right to vote. Is that the official name for it in England? The franchise? Are people saying the franchise is voting or something, right? The franchise, that is the number of people who had the right to vote, maybe had whatever. And it grew, so it became more people who could vote over the course of the 19th century, so 1820, 30, 40. So the turn of the 19th century was 1799. And political parties began to involve ordinary men and women as members. In 1918, women over the age of 30 were given voting rights and the right to stand in Parliament. In 1980, over the course of the 19th century, the franchise grew, and that it began to involve ordinary men and women as members. During the 19th century, from 1800 until 1899, women had no right to vote, and probably also not to be voted in. Years written 1918, over the age of 30. No woman in the 19th century had the right to vote, if we believe in what we have had written here. Let's formulate it differently, but we can take it. During the 19th century, more and more people could vote, and then, with the time, more ordinary men and women could become member of what? Of political parties. We're gonna do not anything new anymore, so if you're just here for more for the development of British democracy, you can just go to the next part. We're gonna do now just restraining you can participate in it, but that would be at your own risk. We're having the legs sitting with both and shoulder wide apart, we're having the hands next to us, form the fists, and we're bringing them down. And up. And again down. And to the next exercise. Same setup, but not to the inside. We are having 3 rules. The first rule is that we are stopping immediately as soon as we feel pain. The second rule is that we're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third rule is that we are not overdoing it. We're having quite a lot of exercises, so don't overdo it. This is more like a marathon. Not like a sprint. Okay, the next exercise is the T-Rex in the morning. Long arms out with the hands, we bring them up and down. And last down. And up. Now the T-Rex in between. If you don't have a tennis ball, you can just do it without one. We are pressing onto the tennis ball with moderate force, or making a strong twist. And we're releasing, and we're pressing a second time. We're releasing, and we're pressing the third time. Switching, and we're pressing again. We're releasing, and we're releasing again. We're releasing, and we're pressing again. Now the cautious big bang. Place the fingertips of one hand onto the fingernails of the other hand. Pressing a bit, and now we're opening slowly. And we're closing again slowly. and last time opening, and closing. Now switching, opening, and closing. And last time opening, and closing. Now the frog testing the water temperature. Hands next to us, and we're going down with the hands, and we're extending fingers, flat fingers, and bringing them again up into extension with fists, and we are making strong fist. And again down, and flat the fingers, and up with strong fists. Again down with flat fingers, up with strong fists. Next exercise, the field day is Neurosynthia's director. Like that. And then slowly opening and closing. And another side. And the next one, the hands next to us, and we're bending now as for knuckles. And again up, and again down. Hold it a little, and again up. And again down, and again up, and last time. Next exercise, bring the arms in, flexed fists and strong fists, and down into extension with flat fingers. And again into flexion with strong fists, and to the outside, flat fingers. Again in strong fists, and the last time down, flat fingers. Up strong fists. Next exercise, the claw. And making claws. And again open. And again close. Hold it for 2-3 seconds or 1-2 seconds. And open again. And again close. And open. Again close. Open. One last time. Close. And open. Last exercise here, but we have one more. We're having a hand. Bending it, and then we're pressing on each finger a little bit, more carefully of course. So if any of these exercises hurts or it's too much, then break or make a pause. And the last finger, with your hand, and the hand at the knuckles, and press a bit on top of it. And the same finger, foot. And the last one. And the last exercise will be unfolding rocket boosters. Having long arms, hands form to fists, bringing these fists, strong fists to the inside. And now to the outside with flat fingers. Again to the inside with strong fist. And to the outside, flat fingers. Again to the inside, strong fists. To the outside, flat fingers. And just ending, closing. And we're doing an exercise. We're going with moderate pressure over the middle part of the lower arm. And on the other side. And that's it. I thank you very much. And until next time.